Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Bitcoin dominance, which has had a huge rally coming back up here to retest the range highs and the resistance right around 48 to 49%. So I did want to provide my general update and my outlook on the Bitcoin dominance, how that's playing into my analysis, and what I plan and foresee for the altcoin market. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I am fairly active over there with crypto content. Now, before we talk about the Bitcoin dominance and this major level of resistance and this very long-term range, let's just discuss what this is actually representing, what this move and rally by the Bitcoin dominance from 40 up to 49% actually is showing us. Now with Bitcoin, of course, we do know that we had a huge breakout here on the weekly chart. We've broken back above the February highs, which were around 24.5K, which were also the same highs from back here in August. And in general, that has taken us up to this level right around 30K, which does mark a high of about 47 weeks now. So almost a 1-year high for Bitcoin, whereas the altcoin market is really not seeing this same breakout. If we look here at total 3, which is just going to show us the total cryptocurrency asset class, subtracting Bitcoin and Ethereum, so it's really just giving us an idea of all the altcoins, although it does include stablecoins, so that is one potential drawback. But this does give us a good idea of where the altcoins are, where that altcoin market is at, which you can see is right here around $384 billion. But with this, you can see that it hasn't actually broken out above its August highs. Its August highs were at $454 billion, and from that point, the total 3 is actually down by about 15%. So many other altcoins have not actually seen this breakout like Bitcoin has, and in fact are below those highs from back here in August. And they are also below the highs that were formed from back here in October, as well as the highs from earlier on in this year in February and January, where total 3 peaked at around $403 billion. So we're down slightly from that level as well. And overall, you can see this is looking a lot less strong, much weaker overall than Bitcoin, which has completely reversed this downtrend, left behind a longer-term bottoming pattern, is now breaking out and working on this new uptrend. So that's really what this rally by the Bitcoin dominance is telling us. It's telling us that the altcoins are more or less going sideways. You can see the total 3 is at the same valuation that it was from back here in January. Bitcoin back here in the end of January was around 24K. So that's what this rally by the Bitcoin dominance is showing us. It's showing us that Bitcoin is on this massive move, but most other altcoins are more or less just going sideways. Some of them are even down slightly. So that's kind of what makes Bitcoin more dominant. It's gaining market capitalization while the other assets in this entire asset class aren't doing too much. And of course, that has taken us back up to the range highs and the highest valuation on the Bitcoin dominance since back here in July of 2021, which was that local high just before coming back down to retest the range lows. So you can see that was right around 49%, the same valuation we're at right here. And what's very key here is that the Bitcoin dominance is at some sort of inflection point. There's really 2 paths that we could have moving forward with the Bitcoin dominance, and I'm going to discuss the more bearish scenario with the Bitcoin dominance first. And that would be the event where maybe Bitcoin is coming back down below this level and it's starting to show some signs of weakness, and then it's generally going to start to trend back down and reject at the range highs, very similar to how it did from back here in May of 2021. Again, July, August, all of these other rejections. That's sort of the bearish scenario on the Bitcoin dominance, where we would look for a move coming back down to retest the middle of the range, which at the very least would take us back down to sort of this breakout point at 44%. And this is the scenario if you are very heavily invested in the altcoin market that you would want to see, because that would mean altcoins are sort of gaining back their market share. A lot of them would start to outperform Bitcoin, and that could potentially lead to a very small altcoin season. But of course, the much more likely scenario in my view, and one that I'm going to be focusing on a little bit more in this video, is a eventual breakout outside of this big range that we have, again, between 40 and 48%. Now, this is the scenario where Bitcoin does continue to rally here, or potentially has a drawback and then continues to rally, whereas most other altcoins would just sort of be left behind, potentially bleeding if we do get a correction, bleeding sharply. Anything that would result in the Bitcoin dominance continuing to increase here, I think that is the most likely scenario, just because we have seen before with the beginning of a market cycle, that the Bitcoin dominance does tend to rally. And to show you what I'm talking about here, you can see from back here in the 2019 timeframe, we had the Bitcoin dominance rallying from 52 all the way up to 72%. And again, you can see back here in 2019, I'm just going to use a different chart. Back here in 2019 for Bitcoin, we had the massive rally from 3 up to 14K. So this is the rally where the Bitcoin dominance really increased here, again, on this move from 52 to 72%. So that is sort of the most bullish scenario for the entire market. But if you are heavily invested in the altcoins, that's not necessarily what you want to see, because that would probably mean that your altcoins are going to be flat while Bitcoin continues to rally to up to, say, 38 or even 40K. Now, the other reason I think that the more likely scenario is going to be a breakout, not just because that we're in the same sort of time frame within the cycle, being at the beginning of a cycle after a major bottoming pattern like we were in 2019, but also because we have retested and rejected off this resistance on 5 separate occasions now. So I do think that if we are going to see a breakout at some point when you get to the 6th or even 7th retest, there is much more of a likelihood and a probability that we do see that breakout, just because these levels of resistance don't tend to hold on to too many times after multiple retests have already been rejected. So that's sort of the outlook, where maybe we do have a weekly close above this resistance. We're making higher highs on the Bitcoin dominance, and then potentially rallying up to some of these levels from back here in 2018 and 2019, where we could look to up as high as 53%. I think that's highly likely. But that being said, I do throw these levels out just as more or less a guide. I don't think it's very important where we do end up having the Bitcoin dominance rally to. The more important thing is the direction and the trend of the Bitcoin dominance, which, as you can see after this double bottom from back here in November of 2022, has been very firmly to the upside. And for me, at least, that's all I really need to know. That's the only thing that actually matters, is if it's trending up or if it's trending down. And if it's trending up, I'm much more comfortable just holding all of my crypto positions, my portfolio in Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of Ethereum just to have a little bit more risk exposure. But I'm not really too interested in the altcoins at this stage, because I do eventually believe that we will see the Bitcoin dominance have a very significant decline, leading to a new alt season. But until we have very clear signs that the conditions in the market and the environment is right for an alt season, I'm just going to be remaining in Bitcoin. And if you have large positions in altcoins, that's maybe not what you want to hear. But again, if you have been in altcoins, you've pretty much missed out on this entire rally over the last few weeks. You've missed out on this very significant and impressive move by Bitcoin, because looking here at just a few examples on my watch list, Aave, that's one I was very bullish on. You can see it's pretty much at the same price it was going all the way back here a few months ago. It's down from its highs in February. Looking here at Cardano, same thing, same price. It's below its February highs. Binance Coin, this was one I was a little bit more bullish on, but of course that has gone sideways as well. Chainlink, same thing, stuck in a very long range here, whereas Bitcoin has been breaking out. So that's sort of the scenario and the situation that we're dealing with. And the best position to be in is just simply to be in Bitcoin and waiting to rotate into altcoins until the market is suitable for those conditions. And I don't think that we are in that stage. I think we're in the very early stage of a market cycle where we don't have too many investors looking to get too risky. So as long as we remain in that stage of the market cycle, I do think that the Bitcoin dominance will trend up, and that Bitcoin will have the best returns and the least risk in terms of an investment scenario. I hope you guys enjoy the content and the analysis, and as always, I will see you in the next one.